Picture this. I'm sipping coffee on my own porch when squad cars roll up, lights flashing. My neighbor Karen had just called 911, reporting me as a trespasser. What she didn't realize, the criminal she wanted arrested was actually me, a deputy sheriff. And this time, justice wore my badge. My name's Daniel Carter, 42 years old, and after 15 years in law enforcement, I decided to settle down on the small ranch my father left me. It wasn't much, 10 acres, a barn, a couple of horses, and a house that creaked with history. To me, it was peace. But peace has a way of attracting chaos. That chaos came in the form of my neighbor, Karen Whitmore. Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was the self-proclaimed queen of the subdivision across the road. Perfect lawn, expensive SUV, clipboard always in hand. She ran the HOA like a general commanding troops. At first, I thought her constant hellos and fake smiles were harmless. But under that polite veneer, I sensed steel, and not the kind forged from kindness. I was about to learn just how far Karen would go to control everything around her. It started with a knock on my door one Tuesday morning. When I opened it, Karen stood there in heels that didn't belong on gravel, holding a manila folder thicker than a Bible. "Mr. Carter," she announced in a voice dripping with authority, "your barn, your fence, and that unpleasant chicken coop all violate community standards." I stared at her, confused. I'm not part of your HOA. This is private land." Her laugh sounded like ice cracking. "Oh, you are now. This whole area falls under Willow Creek Estates, and that means my rules." I almost laughed, but her glare told me she was dead serious. She handed me a letter threatening $500 a day fines unless I removed unsightly farm equipment. I told her politely to get off my land, but as she stomped away, perfume lingering like poison, I knew this wasn't the end. This woman wasn't after clean yards, she was after control. Karen didn't waste time. Within days, I started getting county notices, noise complaints, zoning violations, even an accusation that my horse was dangerous. At night, I'd see her silhouette in the window, binoculars pointed straight at my land. She posted on the neighborhood Facebook group about a dangerous man with a criminal past living next door. The irony? My criminal past was 15 spotless years wearing a badge. Neighbors I barely knew started avoiding eye contact. Others whispered apologies, quietly admitting Karen had cornered them with petitions. Her goal was simple: make me look like a menace until the pressure forced me out. I documented everything. Photos of her trespassing, screenshots of her online posts, timestamps of her complaints. Years in law enforcement had taught me one thing: bullies only win when nobody keeps records. Still, there was a gnawing question in my mind. Why was she so desperate to drive me off my own land? The breaking point came on a chilly morning in March. I was fixing the gate when two sheriff's cruisers rolled up, lights flashing. "Sir," one deputy said, stepping out cautiously, "we got a report of a trespasser refusing to leave." I blinked. Trespasser? On my property. That's when I saw her, Karen, standing at the edge of her driveway with her arms folded, smug as could be. She'd called the cops on me for standing in my own yard. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my leather badge wallet, and flipped it open. "Gentlemen, I'm Deputy Sheriff Daniel Carter. This is my home. I'd like to know who thinks otherwise." The younger deputy's eyebrows shot up. He glanced toward Karen, who suddenly looked like she'd swallowed glass. "She, said you were refusing to vacate," he stammered. Karen's face drained of color as realization set in. The man she tried to evict was the same man authorized to arrest her. And trust me, her problems were only just beginning. That night, curiosity got the better of me. Why was Karen so relentless? Harassment, lies, now false police reports. It didn't add up to just property values. I pulled county records. And there it was. Her husband's development company had filed plans for an expansion. The catch? My land sat squarely in the middle of it. They couldn't build without me gone. Karen's harassment wasn't personal. It was business. She thought she could wear me down, scare me off, or bury me in legal trouble until I sold. But she made one fatal mistake. She underestimated how far a deputy sheriff was willing to go for the truth. From that moment, I treated Karen like any other investigation. Every letter she left, photographed. Every conversation, recorded. One-party consent is a beautiful thing in my state. Every false report, filed with timestamps. And slowly, neighbors began to notice. Families who once avoided me stopped by to buy eggs or just chat. We never believed her, one mother told me. She's been terrorizing us for years. Karen's support crumbled. What she called a community uprising turned out to be 3 households and a lot of Facebook drama. The tide was turning, and Karen could feel it. Which meant she was about to make her biggest and last mistake. 2 weeks later, she marched across my driveway, waving another stack of papers, screaming about lawsuits and threats. I let her rant, recording every second. Finally, she stepped too far. "You don't belong here, Carter. I'll have you removed, even if I have to lie to every cop in this county." That was it. I pulled out my badge. "Karen Whitmore, you're under arrest for filing false police reports, harassment, and obstruction of justice." Her face froze, shock giving way to panic. The same deputies she once weaponized against me arrived moments later, this time, to take her into custody. Karen's empire of intimidation collapsed overnight. She was charged with multiple counts of harassment, false reporting, and attempted fraud. The development plans? Scrapped once investigators uncovered her tactics. The community breathed easier without her shadow looming over every mailbox. And me? I finally had my peace back. The kind I'd been searching for when I first moved in. Karen thought she could use the law as her weapon. What she never expected was that the law was standing right across the fence, watching, waiting, and ready. So let me ask you, what would you have done if your neighbor tried to evict you from your own land? Picture this. I'm sipping coffee on my own porch when squad cars roll up, lights flashing. My neighbor Karen had just called 911, reporting me as a trespasser. What she didn't realize, the criminal she wanted arrested was actually me, a deputy sheriff. And this time, justice wore my badge.